happy day. And you know, all you saw on television was the legacy, the legacy, the legacy. How many people have died of AIDS since dying? That's the legacy. I hold that son of a bitch responsible for every AIDS death that has ever happened in this country and in this world. That's the legacy, you know. And then they got the whole funeral procession from stem to stern all over the country. Nancy banging her head on the top. And you know, for a minute, I actually cried, ladies and gentlemen. And then I thought, fuck you, lady. I'm not falling for that one. You know. But hey, you know, everybody gets theirs in the end, right? Let's hope. But it is funny, you know, because I think back, you know, my daughter, Miss D, she's a biracial baby. Now, of course, nowadays it's very trendy to have a biracial baby, you know, but of course back then, when I gave birth to Miss D, that was a kind of a taboo thing to have a biracial baby. But now, you know, everybody wants one. You know, I think it's because of the gays, you know. All these gays getting married and having children, adopting a little Korean baby, a little Vietnamese baby, you know, from all over. It's, you know, and the gays are always the leaders. They're the trendsetters, right, you know. And so, of course, now, if you're a white baby, you know, you see a gay whoa, look at that gay fella over there with that little white baby. He must be doing pretty good for himself, you know. A little white baby, that's a status symbol, ladies and gentlemen, you know. Because those little white babies, they're not so easy to come by. You know? And you know, you think about it. Back in the day when we started performing, they had segregation. You know, you go all over, and the black people, they couldn't go in the front door. You know, old whitey, let them sing and dance for them, but please don't use our toilet. You know. And I think back about it, you know, we used to, Herb and I would, we were on a kind of a circuit back in the 50s. In this, you'd travel around going from one cabaret, nightclub, venue, or boîte to another. And, you know, you'd other people be on the same circuit, and you'd meet people going here, coming in, going out. And I remember one day we were going into a place just as Billie Holiday was finishing up an engagement. Now, I don't know if any of you are familiar with Billie Holiday, but she was a terrific singer and a hell of a lot of fun. Billie knew how to have a good time, ladies and gentlemen. So, she's finishing up in this cabaret, and she's in the dressing room, and we go in, she said, "Hey, Kiki, come on in." So, I went in, you know, sat down, threw back a few Orion gingers, locked the door. The next thing you know, we're laughing and scratching as girlfriends do. And she looks at me and she says, "Listen, Kiki, let me tell you something. A white man will fuck you, but he won't take you to dinner." I don't know what the hell she was talking about, you know, but I figured, hey, it's Billie Holiday, right? Okay, Billie, whatever you said, you know. I didn't know what the hell she was talking about. But, you know, I think she was trying to warn me about my first husband, Ruby. You know, he was a white man, a boxer. And, you know, but I didn't know, you know, I was in love. Sweetheart, let me see your hand. You married? Never do it. It'll be the biggest mistake you'll ever make in your life. You know, you love him, be with him. You know, but at that time, I was, you know, it was the 50s. You know, that was the thing to do. You were supposed to grow up, you know. You find yourself a nice man, get married, and have a couple of children. That was the end of the story. But of course, in those days, that was the only way you could get out from under your father. So I was like, you know, dating Ruby, hey, you know, and finally, when's he gonna ask me? Finally, he says, all right, Kiki, will you marry me? Yes, I'll marry you. I was so thrilled, you know, but of course, I had a career. A lot of women back there didn't have a career, you know. You're lucky, a young girl like you can, you know, get yourself an education, you could go to school, you can be anything, do anything you want. Of course, don't expect to get paid the same as a man, but hey, times are changing somewhat. And but anyway, he said, hey, Kiki, I don't want any wife of mine working. You're quitting that job, and we're gonna be having well, basically, I couldn't work anymore. And he says, so he installed me in a split-level ranch house in Nutley, New Jersey, where I proceeded to cook and to clean and to iron and to sew and to have a couple of, have a kid, wash the diapers, clean the diapers, do the laundry, take the laundry out in the backyard, had to put it over the clothesline, careful to take a damp rag across the clothesline before you put your sheets over it, so you don't have a big black stripe across your sheets. I mean, the minutia alone was overwhelming. And I hated it. I hated every minute of it. But I was bound and determined I was going to make my marriage work. And I knew he was cheating on me because, like I said, I did the laundry and I know that smell. But I said, no, I'm going to make this marriage work. And I decided, today's the day. Today is the day I'm going to put the spark back in this marriage. So I wrapped myself up in plastic wrap. And I was waiting for him when he came to the door, takes one look at me. What the hell's wrong with you? And goes down the kitchen. I said, hey, Ruby, what are you doing? Let's do something nice. I want to go somewhere. Let's go out to dinner. Just take me out to dinner. I want to go somewhere. Let's go dancing. Let's remember what all this is about, And I hadn't seen Herb in forever because Herb had to keep working. And he got himself a job working in a resort in upstate New York in the Pocapees or the
Pocono.
Peekapoos, well, he was working for his people, ladies and gentlemen, in a nice Jewish resort upstate, I mean, how many times can you play that song? But I said, come on, Ruby, let's get out of here. Take me someplace let's go to the Pocapees and see Herb. Just get me out of here. I want to go out. I just want to. He said, hell no, we're not going out. I want my dinner, and I want it now. And he went out in the kitchen and got himself a beer and went out and sat down in front of the television and fell asleep. Now, I don't know if any of you people have ever experienced this. We're just walking along, right as rain, fit as a fiddle and ready for love, and all of a sudden, snap! You snap! Oh, I'm okay, you're okay. Everything is groovy and it's well way. Tickety-boo, 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 tickety-boo. Snap! Well, all I can tell you is that when Ruby went in that living room and sat down in front of the television, I just snapped! And I found myself in the kitchen. What am I? Who am I? What am I doing here? How did I get here? Grazing. Hands over the counter. Hands over the counter. What'll I do? Maybe I'll make some coffee. Hot water, cold water, cold water. Grazing. There's the refrigerator. What I have for dinner? Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've always had a thing for knives. I love a knife. The sheer utilitarian vision of a knife. The design perfection of a knife. And when I first married Ruby, it was our first Christmas together, he said, Kiki, what would you like for Christmas? I said, I'd like a set of steak knives, if you please. Well, he took this to be a strange request from a newlywed expectant mother. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm not gonna cut my meat with a butter knife. Grazing. And all of a sudden, I found that I had this hand full of steak knives. And I went out into the living room where Ruby was sleeping and just, I wasn't stabbing him in the heart. I wasn't stabbing him in the stomach. I wasn't trying to kill him. I was just poking him in the arm. I was just trying to get his attention. And he woke up and he backhanded me across the living room. And that night, I ended up in jail for the very first time. But let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. When I was in the pokey, I learned there is more than one way to love. The next day, Ruby came to bail me out. I was waiting for him. Ruby, this is Sandra. Sandra, this is Ruby. He's the other woman. Don't mess with a disinfected housewife. You know, Herb, the saddest day of my life was the day when John Hinckley missed. If I'd have had the strength, I'd have gone to Washington, D.C. and shot that son of a bitch myself. But I didn't. I was tired. And now we got an even bigger son of a bitch down there, don't we, Herb? So, if any of you have the strength, have at it, be my guest. What? Oh, yeah, you're right. Listen, don't tell anyone I said that. I don't want them reopening my FBI file again. But it's funny, Herb, how things go around, come around, go around, And lately, when was it, a couple months ago that Reagan, he went and, died, praise the, hallelujah. That was a happy day. That was a happy day, Herb. And all you saw on television was the legacy, the legacy, the legacy. How many people have died of AIDS since the early 1980s, Herb? Still dying? That's the legacy. I hold that son of a bitch responsible for every AIDS death that has ever happened in this country and in this world. That's the legacy. And then they got the whole funeral procession from stem to stern all over the country. Nancy banging her head on the top. And for a minute, I actually cried, ladies and gentlemen. And then I thought, fuck you, lady. I'm not falling for that one. But hey, everybody gets theirs in the end, right? Let's hope. But it is funny, because I think back.